3 lawyers, 2 mediators, 18 months, $50,000. Then he found a company with a different model entirely, fixed price, everything included, one flat fee. They had no incentive to drag things out. A few weeks later, his divorce was finalized. Total cost, around $1,200 per person. He was relieved. Done. But here's what nobody tells you about finishing your divorce. The paperwork being done doesn't make you feel better.
Welcome to the Divorce Support Podcast, where we uncover how people successfully let go and move on during and after divorce. It's one of the hardest times in life, and yet we'll show you how you can feel significantly better, faster than you'd think. Everything here is backed by more than 40 years of courses and thousands of people who have used the Rebuilders program to let go and move on. And we'll show you how you can too. This season draws on the Amazon bestseller book titled 10-Week Divorce Recovery. We are walking through each chapter one at a time until we complete the book. Before we get into it, take a couple of minutes to find out exactly how you're doing. We have a free, personalized quiz that measures how you are doing. It's called the Divorce Recovery Scorecard. You can take it at rebuilders.net/DRS. You'll hear references to people's scores come up throughout the book, so get yours and keep them close as you listen. And if this show helps you, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to this podcast. Now let's get started.
Chapter 4, Legal. The Legal First Mistake. Dave is not a guy you would expect to get taken advantage of. He was 57, an executive in manufacturing, built a real career, built a real fortune, built a reputation as someone who was sharp, fair, and good at his job. He had spent decades making smart decisions. Then his marriage ended, and suddenly he was in a world he did not understand, with professionals who understood it very well. He hired a lawyer. A good one, he thought. Someone who came recommended. Professional office, confident handshake. Spoke like he had done this 1,000 times, which he had. The retainer was $5,000 to get started. Dave wrote the check. You get what you pay for. Except months went by and nothing much happened. Documents that were supposed to be filed weren't filed. Deadlines came and went. Dave would call to check in, and his lawyer would need to get himself up to speed. He didn't always remember the details. Every call felt like starting over. Then another bill would arrive, another $5,000. Dave paid it. What else do you do? You're already in. You trust the process. He stayed with that attorney for months. The situation didn't improve, so he found a new lawyer. Different office, same story, another retainer, another round of getting someone up to speed, another few months of slow movement and bills that kept coming. By the third lawyer, Dave was done. He decided lawyers weren't the answer. He tried mediation. The first one was great until she had a complicated pregnancy and had to stop. The second one was fine, but didn't hold the details the same way. More months, more bills, less progress. 3 lawyers, 2 mediators, 18 months, $50,000. Then he found a company with a different model entirely, fixed price, everything included, one flat fee. They had no incentive to drag things out. A few weeks later, his divorce was finalized. Total cost, around $1,200 per person. He was relieved. Done. But here's what nobody tells you about finishing your divorce. The paperwork being done doesn't make you feel better. Dave thought once it was over, once everything was signed and filed, he'd finally be able to move on. He was wrong. The divorce was finalized. The pain was still there. Because the legal system can't heal what's broken inside you. Here's what most people do after their marriage ends. They call a lawyer first. It makes sense. You need to protect yourself. You need to know your rights. You need someone on your side. So you hire a lawyer, you pay the retainer, and the meter starts running. Every email, $50. Every phone call, $100. Every court appearance, $2,000, maybe more. The average divorce costs $15,000 to $30,000 in legal fees, sometimes a lot more. And here's what nobody tells you. Most of that cost isn't about the complexity of your case. It's about how you feel while the case is happening. There are 2 ways people let their emotions drive up the cost of divorce. The first is obvious. They fight. They dig in. They refuse to compromise. They drag things out. They hire aggressive lawyers who bill by the hour and have no incentive to settle quickly. Every motion, every hearing, every angry email, it all costs money. And at the end, after spending tens of thousands of dollars, they still feel terrible because the legal system can't heal emotional wounds. But there's a second way emotions drive up the cost, one that people don't talk about as much. These are the nice people, the ones who don't want to be difficult, the ones who think, I want to have a good relationship with my ex when this is over. So they agree to things they shouldn't agree to. They let their ex keep the house, even though they're entitled to half the equity. They don't fight for the retirement account because they earned it. They take less custody time than they want because I don't want the kids caught in the middle. They think if they're generous, if they're kind, if they make it easy, their ex will appreciate it. The divorce will be amicable. Everyone will move on peacefully. Except that's not what happens. What happens is they give everything away, and their ex is still angry, still bitter, still makes their life difficult. And now they're broke and bitter, and they feel like they got played. Because they thought being nice would make the pain go away. It doesn't. The legal system doesn't care if you're nice. And your ex's pain doesn't go away just because you were generous. You end up with nothing, and you still hurt. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Sarah. Sarah was married for 20 years, 2 kids, a functional marriage. They were great parents, but they lived parallel lives. No real connection, no intimacy. For years, it worked. They raised their kids. They had routines. It wasn't perfect, but it was fine. Then her husband started pushing for change. He wanted couples therapy. He wanted to work on the marriage. He kept saying he was unhappy. Sarah shut down. She didn't know what to do with that. She couldn't face what he was asking her to face. So she withdrew. She drank more to cope. When he kept pushing, she told him, I'm fine. It's your problem to learn how to be happy. She genuinely didn't understand what was happening inside her. She just knew she felt cornered, overwhelmed, like she was falling into a hole she couldn't climb out of. Eventually, he filed for divorce. Sarah was furious. How dare he? How could he give up on their family like this? She was lost, completely lost. Without her husband, without the structure of her marriage, she didn't know who she was anymore. Her oldest was about to graduate high school. The younger one was only 2 years behind. Soon, she'd have nothing, no husband, no kids at home. She felt like she was disappearing, so she fought. She hired the bulldog lawyer, the one who fights for every penny. She fought for alimony she didn't need. She fought for money from his retirement account. She made every negotiation as difficult as possible. Not because she had a plan, not because she understood what she was doing. She just knew she was drowning, and fighting felt like the only thing she could control. The case went to trial. 18 months of fighting, over $100,000 in legal fees. The judge made the rulings. The divorce was finalized, and Sarah still felt terrible. She'd spent all that money, all that time, all that energy, and she still felt lost, still felt like she was disappearing. Because the legal system can't fix what was actually broken. A few months after the trial, Sarah was talking to a friend who'd also been through divorce. The friend told her about a structured recovery program. 10 weeks, group format, specific exercises. Sarah was skeptical. How was 10 weeks going to help? But she was desperate. The divorce was over and she still felt like hell. So she tried it. 10 weeks later, Sarah was a different person. Not because the divorce settlement changed, but because she finally understood what had actually been happening inside her. She'd been carrying a wound she didn't even know was there. Something from childhood that got triggered when her husband asked her to change. When he left, it confirmed everything she'd been afraid of her whole life. She hadn't been fighting about money. She'd been fighting to prove something to herself. And the legal system couldn't do that. 10 weeks of structured work did what 18 months of legal battles and $100,000 couldn't do. It healed the thing that was actually broken. Here's what Sarah learned. The legal system can't heal you. No amount of money can heal you. No ruling from a judge can heal you. She'd spent $100,000 fighting, dragging things out, making her ex suffer. Not because she had a strategy, because she was drowning and didn't know what else to do. And none of it worked. Because she was fighting the wrong battle. The battle wasn't in the courtroom. It was inside her. And until she dealt with that, nothing was going to change. Here's what unhealed emotion does in a divorce. It doesn't just hurt you, it costs you. If you're angry, you fight battles that don't matter. You spend thousands trying to punish your ex, and at the end, you're still angry. If you're guilty, you give everything away trying to make the pain stop. And at the end, you're broke and bitter, and your ex is still mad. If you're lost, you drag things out because finishing feels like disappearing. And at the end, you've spent a fortune, and you still feel lost. Either way, you lose. Because the legal system can't solve emotional problems. Every angry email to your lawyer, $50. Every motion filed because you don't know what else to do, $500. Every court appearance driven by fear or rage or desperation, $2,000. Your pain has a price tag, and the meter is always running. Here's what most people don't realize. The legal process doesn't care about your feelings. The judge doesn't care that your ex gave up on the marriage, or that you feel like you're disappearing, or that you're terrified of being alone. The law cares about assets, custody schedules, income, what's equitable on paper. Your feelings, those are your problem, but they leak into everything. Think about it this way. Every hour you spend fighting because you don't know what else to do is an hour your lawyer is billing you for a battle that isn't really about the house or the retirement account. Every concession you make out of guilt is money you'll regret giving away in 6 months. Every week you spend unable to think clearly because you're drowning is a week you're making decisions you can't undo. Every month you delay because finishing feels like losing yourself is a month you're paying lawyers to keep the process alive. The legal system doesn't heal you. It just processes the paperwork. And if you're a mess while that's happening, the paperwork gets expensive. Or you give everything away and end up broke. Either way, you lose. Sarah is at peace now, not because the trial ended. The trial ended months before she found peace. She's at peace because she did the work the legal system couldn't do for her. She processed what was actually happening inside her. She let go of the rage and fear and desperation that had been driving everything. She found out who she was outside of being someone's wife, someone's mom. 10 weeks of structured work. After $100,000 and 18 months of fighting couldn't fix it, because the legal system was never designed to heal that kind of pain. I'm not saying the legal process doesn't matter. It does. You need a good lawyer. You need to protect yourself. You need to fight for what's fair. Some lawyers are excellent. They're ethical. They're efficient. They genuinely care about getting you a good outcome. Others are not. And the system itself, hourly billing, endless discovery, drawn-out negotiations, is designed in a way that doesn't always serve you. Dave's story shows that. 3 lawyers, 2 mediators, 18 months, $50,000. Not because his case was complex, because the system itself has incentives that don't align with getting it done quickly. There are better options: fixed price mediation, sometimes collaborative divorce. Models that are designed to finish, not to bill. If you haven't hired a lawyer yet, explore those options. But here's the truth that applies no matter which legal path you take. If you're negotiating from a place of unprocessed pain, you're going to make bad decisions. You'll either fight battles that don't matter, or you'll give away things you shouldn't, or you'll drag things out because you're terrified of what comes next. Either way, it costs you, and when it's over, you still feel terrible. Sarah waited until after the trial to do the work. It cost her $100,000 and 18 months of her life. If she'd done the work while the divorce was happening, she would have settled in a fraction of the time, for a fraction of the cost, and she would have walked away at peace. The people who do best in divorce aren't the ones who wait until it's over to start healing. They're the ones who do both at the same time. They heal while they negotiate, and because of that, they settle faster, spend less, and walk away whole. But even when people know they need to heal, they don't always know where to turn. So they look for community, people who understand, a place where they don't have to explain themselves. They join support groups, church groups, meetups, start dating, talk to friends and family a lot, and it helps, just not enough.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope today's chapter meant something to you, and we look forward to bringing you the next one. If any of it hit close to home, here's your next step. Every week we run Phoenix Live. It's free to visit. It's online, so it's easy to try out, and it's real people at every stage of divorce recovery doing the work. Learn more at rebuilders.net. And when you're ready to walk through the process with help, it comes in 3 ways: online from anywhere, in person with a local group, or as a week-long immersion retreat. Same program, 3 doors. But start with Phoenix Live. Come sit with us. I'd love to meet you. One last thing before you go. If someone you love is going through this too, send them this episode. It might be exactly what they need to hear right now. And again, thank you for being here. See you in the next episode.